gonna die. Go too fast. I'm taking 3.
I'm going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a replay in the Mogami. Yes, been a very long time since I took out the Mogami. We'll get to that. I do want to address a few questions that have arisen from the contest that we started yesterday. If you haven't taken a look, you need to go back to yesterday's video, giving away gold, I think I called it, or something. The beginning part to explain the contest. Now, someone had asked if you can submit more than one entry. I thought about it. I'm actually going to allow it. Because if you have a game sometime during this week between yesterday, December 28th, and December 4th, that is just so amazing, but you were all on the ball about submitting a replay early, or not a replay, an entry early to the contest, I don't really want to limit someone like that. So I will go based off of the most recent replay that you send, or most recent entry for the contest that you send me. You can't be sending me a bunch of emails though going, Thotgor, you need to, like send me a bunch of replays and then tell me which, or send me a bunch of entries and then tell me which entry to take. No, I'm going to take the most recent contest entry that you send. So if you do want to send more than one, like if you've already submitted and you know, like let's say you got 100,000 damage in that game and then suddenly you have a game in tier 7 with, I don't know, with like 300,000 damage or something crazy, yeah, sure, go ahead and submit the second one. It's not going to disqualify you. Another question, no, you do not have to submit a replay with your submission. You can just have the screenshot. Remember, in your subject line, just put Tier 7 Contest, and in your email, just include your in-game name and the server you play on, just to make sure that, you know, everything jives. And, of course, the screenshot of the personal score screen, which is the screen that'll come up showing either victory, defeat, or draw. And, you know, the battle result can be whatever. I'm only looking at the damage for the contest itself. I think those were the questions, maybe. I'm kind of excited today because tomorrow it might be the first like big winter storm that my area is going to have, and if it does happen, it means that school, work, are both going to be canceled. And why I care that school is going to be canceled is that Wednesday nights, you know, I volunteer and whatnot. That means that that will be canceled. So it becomes a pretty significant snow day for me, and I would really enjoy that, but can't get too hopeful. Anyway, to the replay. In the Mogami. Mogami is amazing. You know, after yesterday's Moskva video, I did, you know, I was playing ships last night, and I did start thinking more and more about my Japanese cruisers and what I was saying about them, right? Like they're, you know, a little better concealment, so you can get in there a little closer, and, you know, maybe do a bit more damage. Now, this was the second battle that I played in the Mogami. The first battle ended very tragically, because much like you just saw here, where I was kind of the first person spotted and just took a bunch of shots, but this time I didn't actually take a bunch of damage. In the first battle, yeah, I took a whole crap ton of damage and died right away, but whatever. Didn't happen this time. So you do need to be careful in your Mogami. But one thing I have to say as well is after this battle that I played, it just felt like, and throughout the battle, it just felt like the cruiser was more beefy than I was expecting. Because there were times when I was taking shots by some of these enemies, and I could not believe that I didn't die. Like those shots that just came in, maybe they over-penetrated, I have no idea. But I couldn't believe that I didn't get like a massive citadel hit there. And maybe it's because I'm so used to playing my British and Russian cruisers right now, because I'm just coming down off the Russian cruisers and I'm still grinding away with the British cruisers. I'm not going all out like I was to get to the Fiji. Now that I'm at the Fiji, I'm a little more relaxed in my grind with it. But still, you know, it just seemed as though it was beefier than I thought. But anyway, move myself into the smoke here that my ally has laid out for me, which was very appreciative, and I'm able to get some nice shots in on the enemy destroyers and as well as the enemy Mogami that was over there while I could see them. But I'm still in smoke. I mean, I'm not just gonna, you know, sail out of the smoke. I'm gonna wait for other things to pop up so I can keep shooting at stuff. We do have the Chapiev here, and I do switch over to my armor piercing because the armor piercing on your Japanese cruisers is pretty fantastic indeed. So I figured, what the hell, it's a Chapiev, we're gonna fire armor piercing at it. I mean, the HE, you know, there's nothing wrong with your high explosive ammo either on your Japanese cruisers. It is also very good. It's just broadside chappy. I mean, why wouldn't you fire armor piercing at this target? It just makes sense. Of course, with my luck, I don't get any citadels. I think that was a bit of damage. I'm not sure. Probably wasn't very much damage, but still, a little surprised. And then, yeah, Chapiev goes ahead and grounds himself here. And I was really expecting, like, you know, to quickly finish off this Chapiev. Wasn't expecting to get the low damage rolls that I've been getting here. But whatever, I mean, I was happy enough because I was still alive, and I'm still in the smoke, so people don't see me right now, and this is very, very important for me anyway, because it's what's keeping me alive right now, especially with the battleships that we have in the background. Because you'll notice on the minimap, the way that my team is dispersed is the majority of us are over here on the east side. We have a few allies over on the west. We do have some allies in the middle, but the majority of us are over here on the east, as well as the enemy. Majority of the enemy did seem to come over here to the east as well. So we're kind of duking it out right now with the enemy and seeing what we can do now. I'm not willing to stick around and duke it out with the enemy. You know, a bunch of reversing battleships and whatnot. No. The Mogami can't do this. So I really do need to reposition. And again, I mean, this is a great benefit of the cruiser class, is that you do have the flexibility to reposition on the map, right? So I'm just going to let the battleships and other people take the lead here. I am going to try to continue to put my shots down range, right? We have the enemy battleship there off in the distance that I did manage to set on fire, so that's fantastic. But looking at the terrain as well that we have on land of fire, you know, I'm gonna maybe shoot on the shoot to the other side of this island and come in and circle around the enemies. That's sort of what I'm thinking. We also do note that, again, you know, I only have a few allies over on the west. There seems to be some enemies that maybe are within my range, so, you know, taking some opportunity here to just sort of look around the battlefield and see what we have going on, right? Trying to be cautious in the approach. Obviously, I do not want to get killed because there are a number of battleships lurking around, and my team isn't doing so great right now, so we do want to try and change that a little, maybe help them out, and the best way to do that is to maintain our situational awareness to ensure that I'm not doing crazy things in the battlefield that are going to get me killed very, very quickly. We see the enemy cruiser there off in the distance. I have my high explosive on the way because there were a number, and we can still see some battleships, right? I think there's 2 up there right now. I wanted to keep the high explosive loaded and ready to go in case of those enemy battleships. If they pop out, you know, I wanted to be able to potentially set them on fire and get them burning as much as I can and just keep that damage going over time. Now, on a bonus, I do get to set this cruiser here on fire a little as well, which isn't too bad. I do enjoy to get a bit of damage out of it, so it's, you know, not too bad, but it would, I mean, the cruiser would have been a good target for armor piercing, especially considering, you know, the length of time that the player was sailing in a straight line would have made it pretty advantageous. But whatever, made my choice. We're going to circle around. You can see I'm kind of in the middle of the map now. Important, though, to keep in mind, if we look at the minimap, we can see the terrain that I'm using as cover, right? There's the island kind of in front of me. I've got the island on the east side of me, and then on the northwest, I do have an island separating myself and the enemy battleship over there that I was firing at, right? We can see that enemy battleship there just behind the rock. So, you know, making sure that I'm positioning myself so that I'm going to take the least amount of fire from any enemies that may be potentially around, right? That's what I'm trying to accomplish here anyway. We have our armor piercing loaded up because we do have an enemy cruiser. It's an enemy Edinburgh. Now, I really expected to just wipe like the map clean of this person here, or this player. I just figured that, you know, my rounds were going to go through the Edinburgh and was just going to destroy it. But it didn't actually play out that way. Now, to be fair, the you know, the captain at the helm of the ship here wasn't dumb. Not dumb, at least at the beginning. you know, sailing bow into me, basically, trying not to present the broadside. Unfortunately, right now, yes, does present the broadside and does open up for some really, really good damage. At least that's what I was hoping. It always seems like when I'm in my British cruiser, you know, just gets looked at and blam, Citadel. Whereas when I'm firing at British cruisers, it always seems like my rounds just go right through them and do no damage at all. You can see I'm doing a bit of damage, and I'm not surprised that the last salvo didn't do very much, right? It hit on top of the turrets and all that lovely stuff. But I do have some pretty good shots going into the broadside of this cruiser, and I am not getting a damn thing from it. So it was a little discouraging, but at the very least I'm doing consistent damage. The problem here as well is that the Edinburgh is also doing consistent damage to me. Very consistent damage, which was a little troublesome because, I mean, the Edinburgh does have more hit points than myself right now, right? So I do switch over to the high explosive. I figure if this player is going to keep going bow in and maneuvering around like he is, I'm not even going to chance trying to get the Citadel or whatever. Just fire my high explosive at the player and hope that you know, it does something. Edinburgh pops smoke, break contact, so I don't see the player anymore. I do know that I did just set the player on fire, and maybe if we watch our damage counter, that fire might hold, so that's good. I also fire some torpedoes off because whatever, just in case, right? We see the damage counter continue to go up, so we know that that player, that Edinburgh, is still on fire and burning away in the smoke. So fantastic. As long as I don't get spotted, and as long as the Edinburgh, I don't get myself into a position where the Edinburgh can fire at me from the smoke and I can't see the player, I should be okay. So that is what I'm hoping for while I get repositioned once again, using the, you know, flexibility of the cruiser to get myself over here onto the eastern side of the map. Maybe not to the extreme east, but I do want to get over here to the east and help out my allies, because again, this is where the concentration of the enemy ships are. Now we do still have the enemies has a lead in overall ships remaining, so we do want to keep this in mind, right? Because we don't want to fail in this mission. That would suck. My torpedoes come through for me. I managed one hit on the Edinburgh, and it basically kills the player right now as well. The player is taking some flooding damage there as well, on top of the fire damage that's still burning away, so I managed to get a few more shots into the player, and we finish off the Edinburgh. Fantastic. Little less than half health remaining, so that's a little concerning. We can see an enemy destroyer pop up quickly there. I think it's a Benson, and immediately the shells just start raining in on me, right? There's the torpedoes from the Edinburgh, so I'm glad I was able to avoid all of that. Going to turn in and try and use this island as cover as best as I possibly can, and then blam, turpets. I cannot continue my turn to port with the turpets this close to me, so I have to turn into the turpets to go bow on. The problem here is that I'm pretty sure the turpets is going to one-shot me. At least I was convinced it was going to happen. The turpets fires in on me, and those shells manage to miss, which is great and really lucky. It gives me a bit of time, so I'm going to launch some torpedoes here off of the turpets. The turpets just fired, so I figure I have a bit of time while the turpets reloads. I can get my torpedoes off, make the player maneuver, right? The torpedoes I fired weren't necessarily to kill the turpets. It was just to make the player turn so that he wasn't able to continue to sail broadside and just put those massive shots into me. So the turpets is turning, so that's great. I do see torpedoes coming in behind me from the turpets as well, but I'm not going to end up hitting them. Take a few opportunity shots off at another enemy battleship out there. Take a look at what the turpets is doing. Turpets is coming to a stop, so this is concerning, and then blam, the Benson pops up and starts firing at me, right? From the smoke. Now the Benson was my biggest concern, because if this Benson continues to fire at me like this, I'm going to go down. The player's going to set me on fire, and I'm not going to be able to repair it. We can see I'm already moving into, you know, low numbers here on the old hit point pool. So the Benson is a really big threat, because if I just sail straight away from the turpets, I should have a pretty good chance of surviving against the turpets. It's the Benson that is going to just screw me over. So we launched all our torpedoes, and all I can do is hope to the RNG gods that something happens and one of those torpedoes hit. We can see all the shots coming in, then suddenly the shots stop. So this tells me yes, oh yes, at the last minute, Benson Captain realized that his life was about to end, and then I get myself a devastating strike and a nice kill to boot. So fantastic, excellent. Don't need to worry about the Benson anymore. We saw an enemy destroyer quickly pop up, put a few rounds down range, but one of my allies managed to finish him off with some secondary battery, and now I'm going to try to go undetected from the Tirpitz. I know I'm still spotted right now, but maybe I can go undetected. I take a look at the Tirpitz guns, right? The Tirpitz isn't really focused on me, so I really do have a good opportunity to get in there and take out the Tirpitz, or so I thought. I do enjoy grandiose ideas that come to me in ships. But I, take a look at my hit points here and realize, no, I'm not going to be making any, last or, massive pushes against any remaining enemies. If I can just stay at a safe distance against this Tirpitz, set the Tirpitz on fire, help my allies kill the player, I should be able to survive without too much hassle whatsoever. So shots go in, set the Tirpitz on fire. Now, this is something that I really do enjoy about my Japanese cruisers, is their ability to set things on fire. It is pretty fantastic. The HE damage as well, just the base damage is pretty damn decent as well. So it really does make for some great and satisfying battles, much like this one. I was so surprised that I actually managed to survive, because there were so many times in this battle that I just couldn't believe that I survived, that I just figured it was all over, everything, it's done, it's over, I lose. But no, survive, and myself and the team go on to victory. So battle is over, victory is ours. We can take a look at the final results here as they pop up. Not too bad, 106,000 damage dealt. Definitely we've seen more, but still a good go for the first time in a long time in the old Mogami. 398,000 credits, 2 kills and a devastating strike. Decent. Overall, I do finish top of the team overall with well over 2,200 base experience, which isn't too bad. And damage breakdown went pretty good. I pretty much did all of the damage to the Benson, so that's not too bad at all either. At least I think. I'm not sure what the hit point pool is on a Benson now that I mention it, but whatever. When all is said and done, I still do walk away with over 300,000 credits, a bunch of experience, some commander experience as well. All around very satisfying battle, at least for me. I enjoyed this, and surprised as well over it, just because I haven't played the Mogami so much. I know the Mogami's capable of what we saw, and definitely capable of more. It's just I didn't think that I would be able to do such a thing. not so close or so soon after jumping back into the Mogami. Anyway, while we take a look at the crazy container, I guess normal container I always get, we'll close off the video. So I do hope you did enjoy the video today. I hope as well that I was able to answer any questions that you had about the contest. Again, if you haven't checked out the contest, just check out yesterday's video. Giving away gold is what I called it, and you can get all the details on the contest there. Yeah, leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.